And now I need to actually specify some arguments. So first I need to specify the speed of my car object, for example 90, comma, and now I need to actually specify that whether my car object has a braking system or not. So true, okay, comma, and then I need to actually specify the number of wheels of my car object, 4, okay. So now let's actually create another text view object in order to refer to the name of that text view, which is related to the car object, okay. So inside this main activity.java here, text view txt car assignment operator, and then I need to actually specify that this object is actually a text view object, not a view object. So we are actually casting this object to a text view. Find view by id r.id.txt car, okay, and then I need to actually put in a semicolon at the end of my statement, okay. So now I can actually type in here txt car dot set text, and then I can actually refer to the name of this object, my car dot toString method, okay. And let's actually run our project and see what happens. So now, as you can see here, now these values are outputted to the screen, okay. So speed 90, can brake true, number of wheels 4, and write speed 0. And this value is because that we didn't actually call the write method on this my car object, okay. So now if I actually call that method on this my car here, and if I run my project again, let's see what happens. Okay, as you can see here, now this value is outputted to the screen, 360, okay. So hopefully that makes sense. And now let's actually go inside this motorcycle class. So inside this motorcycle class, again, suppose that we don't have any characteristics that are specific only to this motorcycle class. So we need to actually create a constructor for this motorcycle class in order to actually, because whenever we want to create an object from this motorcycle class, that constructor is going to be called, okay? So we can actually pass some values to that constructor. So first of all, let me point out that this motorcycle is actually a vehicle, okay? So we can inherit all of the features and behaviors that are inside this vehicle class, okay? So now I need to actually create a constructor for this motorcycle class, okay, motor. I need to actually put in a pair of round brackets here. I need to actually open and close this constructor by using these curly braces. And now I need to actually specify that some arguments here, and we need to actually initialize the constructor of the superclass. So the superclass of this class is vehicle, okay? And we need to actually initialize this constructor here, okay? So inside this motorcycle class, so inside this constructor, I can just type in super, and inside the parentheses here, now I need to actually specify some arguments, int, speed, comma, boolean, has braking system, okay, comma, and int, number of wheels, okay. And inside the parentheses of this super here, I can actually pass these values in order to initialize the constructor of the superclass, okay. So speed, comma, has braking system, comma, number of wheels, okay. So hopefully that makes sense. And then I want to actually override the toString method that is inside the superclass. So the superclass is vehicle. I can actually override this method, as you can see here, okay. So inside the motorcycle class, I can just refer to the name of that method, toString, and then it's gonna actually execute the implementations of the toString method that is inside this superclass, okay. So hopefully that makes sense. So now let's actually go inside this main activity.java file here, and now we need to actually create an object from this motorcycle class, okay. So I can just refer to the name of that class, motorcycle. The name of this object is my motorcycle, and then I put an assignment operator here, new motor cycle, okay? And now I need to actually pass in some values. So the speed of my motorcycle is, for example, 500, comma, has braking system true, comma, number of wheels 2, okay? And then I need to actually put in a semicolon at the end of my statement. So now let's actually create another text view object, text view, and the name of this object is txt motor cycle, okay? And let's actually put in an assignment operator here, and then we need to actually cast this object to a text view object, find view by id r.id dot txt motorcycle, okay? So now let's actually change this capital C to lowercase c, okay? And then we can actually call the method write on this my motorcycle object. So my motorcycle object dot write, okay? And then we can actually output these values to the screen. Dot set text my motorcycle dot toString, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Now let's actually run our project and see what happens. Okay everyone, now as you can see, these values are outputted to the screen, okay? Speed 500, can brake true, number of wheels 2, write speed 1000, okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Now I want to actually do something here, okay? So now I want to actually, when a person clicks on this go button here, I want this text view here to respond, okay? So for example, when I click on this go button here, I want this text to change, okay? So let's go back inside this main activity.java file here, and let's actually create another text view here, text view txt result, and then I put an assignment operator, and here I actually cast this object to a text view object, and then I just type in here find view by id r.id.txt results, okay? And then I put a semicolon at the end of my statement. Now I want to actually refer to the button, okay? To the button that we actually put inside this content underline main.xml, okay? So inside this main activity.java, as you can see here, we actually created 4 different objects from this text view class, okay? We have another class called button. So now we need to actually create a button object, okay? Button, okay, btn go, okay? And then I put an assignment operator here, and here we need to actually cast this object to our button object. And remember that this button object actually inherits all of the features and behaviors that are inside the view class, okay? So we need to actually cast this object to our button object, and then here we can actually type in find view by id r.id.btn go, okay? And then I put a semicolon at the end of my statement. So let's actually hold the command key and then click on this button here. As you can see here, button actually inherits all of the features and behaviors that are inside this text view class, okay? So let's actually hold the command key again and then click on this text view here. So as you can see here, this text view inherits all of the features and behaviors that are inside this view class. So this button class actually indirectly inherits all of the features and behaviors that are inside the view class, okay? So we can say that the button is actually a view, okay? So hopefully that makes sense.